Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment to become present, sitting on a nice, comfortable cushion or towel, blanket, block, your choice. Something that allows the back of your spine and the back of your neck to sit nice and long and tall, opening up your chest and opening up your diaphragm. Let's gently close our eyes and soften our thoughts. Let's soften our eyes, soften our shoulders, and let's soften our heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present and returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or a phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is the law of attraction. The law of attraction works on the basis that where focus goes, energy flows. So it's a philosophy that suggests that positive thoughts bring positive results, while negative thoughts bring negative outcomes. So what are the principles of the law of attraction? Like attracts like is one of the principles. And another way of saying that, like attracts like, it's a quote from a friend of mine who says this often. And she says, what you give attention to grows. So it could be positive attention or negative attention. So like attracts like. Second one is nature abhors a vacuum. So by removing negative things from your life, you actually make space for more positive things. For example, you can be releasing what no longer serves you. And that will allow space and time for things that do benefit you. Third one, the present is always perfect. And I know some people can argue with that, but basically it's, the idea of when you think in the future, you often get anxious. If you think in the past, you often get depressed. So emotionally, the present can be perfect. You focus on the energy, your current energy, and making ways or having ways that the present gives you the best outcome. For example, thinking of gratitudes that are in your life and having kindness to yourself and others. So spending that energy on the present has its benefits. So that's the law of attraction. There's a number of books written on it. One's called The Secret, spoiler alert. But I mean, I was thinking about that term today, the law of attraction, and we've had a lot of snow lately. So I'm thinking, well, the snow attracts more snow, that attracts more snow, that attracts more snow. So um, maybe it works in a physical universe as well as a spiritual universe. So to that, today's pranayama, we're going to do Vishama Vritti, which is lengthening the inhale over the exhale. So Samra Vritti is an equal length breathing, and we've done that before using a count of 4 or whatever is comfortable for you. I often use 6. But with your count on your inhaling and your exhaling for Samra Vritti, switching it to a longer inhale will attract more life and more energy, more vitality into your body. As I mentioned in the beginning, it's like your inhale breathes life into you, and your exhale breathes relaxation. So let's just take a few moments. Actually, maybe I'll couple this with the meditation. I'll go back to my mat. So we'll do that in a minute. The meditation, I haven't done a mudra in a while. Kubera Mudra, it's taking your hand and bringing all your forefingers down, and then taking your index and your middle finger and bringing them to your thumb. And that's Kubera Mudra. And it brings your awareness to what you want to attract in your life, your desires, your wishes. So that's a mudra that you may want to use during our meditation part. I also have an affirmation, and those are powerful tools to use. You can use the affirmation today of, I attract what is meant for me. I attract what is meant for me. So you have a lot of things to do, busy meditation. You can have just your breathing lengthening on the inhale, bringing that vitality into your body. You can use that mudra of bringing all your fingers down and then bringing your index and your middle to your thumb. Or you can use the affirmation of, I attract what is meant for me. So I'm going to the mat, and we'll start our asana practice in a few moments. open our eyes and begin our asana practice. And I am clearly sunbathing. I'm hoping the sun actually shifts a little bit higher into the sky, so I'm not getting overheated here. So let's just start with a few shoulder shrugs. Again, just when we do our shoulder shrugs, we're trying to just relax everything up in the upper body here, and not wind it up and tighten it up, just the opposite. So really focus on just doing it with ease and grace, incorporating your breath, inhales and exhales to help guide the motions. And then you can reverse this rotation, especially if you find yourself winding up and getting tighter. Stop for a moment and relax, and then reverse. Alrighty, and then we'll do our sun breaths with chest openers. So we'll place our fingertips alongside and slowly and evenly bring our hands up overhead while we inhale up, and then hands come together, and exhale, bringing our hands in the Anjali Mudra all the way down to our heart center. Exhaling as we go, and then opening up our hands on the inhale, and then closing on the exhale. Inhale up again, and it's totally your practice. So, and we'll exhale down. So if your hands don't go all the way up overhead, if your arms aren't alongside your ears, work with what's comfortable for you. The needle will move ever so slightly to that position that I'm talking about, but even I can talk the talk, but sometimes I can't walk the walk. So do again what's comfortable for you, finding that sweet spot between slight effort, and slight relaxation. So we'll do it again. Inhale up, and hands come together, Anjali Mudra. Exhale, bringing them down in front of you. And then opening them up. Again, opening them might be different for you than it is for me. Do what's good for you and comfortable for you. And then exhale, bringing them back together again. Inhale up. And exhale down. One last time, inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale, open. And then exhale, close. Inhale up. And exhale down. And I guess the focus of these, particularly that little sequence, is about breathing. And yes, it's a warm up, warming up your upper body, kind of loosening up things in the top. But the deep inhales and the deep exhales really, really help to warm up the body as well, mentally and physically and spiritually. Those deep, we may not do that any other time of the week, except for when we're here on our mat and really focusing on our deep inhales and deep exhales, which are so nourishing for us. So even if you just do the breathing part, you're good. So next pose, I'm going to lay my legs side by side, my feet side by side, not crossing them at the ankle. I'm just going to do a forward fold. We'll just walk out. Again, finding that sweet spot. And this, when you feel that little tug in your lower back, that's when you may want to stop or even back up so there's no tug. And then dropping your elbows down toward the mat or toward the floor. And just gently ease into this. And if you're able to go down a little further, that's fine too. And then coming back up, we're walking our hands back. We'll just lift our outer leg, the knee goes up and the opposite arm wraps around the knee, sending the fingertips behind the hips, twisting the torso gently to the right. And then we'll come back to center and switch legs. We'll do that on the other side. So slowly walking our hands out. And coming to that sweet spot, and then gently trying to lower the elbows down to the mat. And perhaps lowering your head down toward the mat. Utilizing your breath here, really focusing your movement on the exhale. And then coming back up again, walking your hands back, coming to an upright seated position. Lift that leg up, wrap the opposite arm around it, and send the fingers behind the hips, twisting our torso over to the left. And then bringing ourselves back to center. We'll come up onto our hands and knees to tabletop. Our wrists right below our shoulders, knees right below our hips. Navel's tucked to the spine. Fingers are spread wide apart. That gentle pressure on your hands pushing down so that you really create a lot of space between your shoulders and your ears. Just really feeling that openness in your chest. And then we'll just take our head and turn it from side to side gently. So as if you're saying no, you can swing your nose over to the right and then back to center and then over to the left and back to center. And then go at your own pace here. Maybe listening to all the I think of it as the gears with a little bit of sand in it, but I think things are getting a little bit more fluid in my neck than they were. and this being very helpful. And then we'll come back to center. Now we'll go into cat-cows. So I'm going to exhale and round the back, dropping the head and tail down for cat. Really stretching out the spine, tucking my chin toward my chest. And then releasing, sending my head up to send my gaze straight ahead, and my hips go up, creating a little bit of an arch in my lower back. And then exhaling again, back to cat, rounding the back, dropping the head and tailbone down. Inhaling, lifting the head and tailbone up, sending my gaze straight ahead. I'll do a few more of these and really synchronizing your breath to your movement. And then when you're ready, come back to center, back to tabletop. We'll bring our knees together so that they're gently touching, keeping your wrist right below your shoulders. Just send the right leg out. Just check your hands so that your weight's evenly distributed. And then lift your left arm up. We'll do bird dog, pointing the toes to the back of the mat on the inhale, and then flexing the foot, toes pointing down on the exhale. Inhale, point, exhale, flex. 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 One more point, and then flex and bring leg back down. We'll do that on the other side. So switching your leg, lifting the left leg up, and creating that even distribution in your hands, and then lifting your right arm up. And point, the inhale, flex, exhale, point, 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 inhale, flex, exhale, and then bring everything back down. We're going to roll down on our back, so you can either swing your legs out, come to a seated position and roll down, or if you want, you can cross your legs, come into a seated position, and then roll down. We'll just either with your knees bent, roll down, or your knees straight out, roll down, or tuck your hands under and do the express roll down, whatever is your preference this morning. Come on our backs, bringing our knees to our chest and giving them a nice hug here. And if you can, bring your hands, interlaced fingers, behind your head. And if that's not comfortable, just laying them down alongside of you with your palms facing down into the mat. That's fine too. So we're going to either one. And I'm going to drop the left foot down to the mat and lift the right leg up toward the sky, pointing the toes up to the sky. And then we'll just tuck our chin to our chest and lift our chin up, guiding our head toward our knee. You have your arms behind your head, just pointing your elbows straight out and don't curling them up toward the sky. Just keep them straight out. And then bringing your head back down. We'll do a few more of these. We're going to do a lot of core work today, just so you know. So inhale, bringing our head up toward the knee, and then back down again. And tucking your chin in, head comes up toward the knee, and then back down again. One last time, tucking your chin in, bringing the head toward the knee. Really try to focus on your knee, and then back down again. We'll bring the right foot down to the mat, and lift the left leg up to the sky, pointing the toes up to the sky. And we'll, again, tuck the chin under, lift the head up, keeping the elbows straight out, guiding the head toward the knee. And then back down again. Exhaling as we lift up. Inhaling as we come down. Exhale one more time. Oops. And then back down again. Both feet come to the mat. And we'll take our, and I still have my hands beneath my head. You can have them alongside. Again, what's comfortable for you. We're going to take our right ankle and place it on our left leg just below the knee and come up. Lift our left leg up, coming into reclined pigeon pose. The right knee is facing toward the right side of the mat. Both toes are flexed, pointing up to the sky. And we're going to push our right ankle down toward the bottom of the mat while we're pulling our left knee toward us. So we're going to create a little bit of resistance there. Kind of hold that resistance for a few moments. And then we'll put the left foot back down on the mat, sliding it down toward the end of the mat, keeping our right foot on our left leg. We're going to turn that right knee over to the left side of the mat. You could guide it with your left hand if you'd like, for a nice reclined twist or spinal twist. And then we'll bring those feet back, both feet back to the mat, knees pointing up to the sky. We'll do that on the other side. So bringing the left ankle to the right leg, right below the knee, then lifting the right leg up, pointing both toes up to the sky. Left knees pointing toward the left side of the mat. And we'll create that resistance again by pushing the left ankle to the bottom of the mat and pulling on the right leg toward our chest. Not push me, pull you. And then we'll take the right foot, place it back down on the mat, sliding it down toward the bottom of the mat, keeping the left foot on our right leg. We'll take the left knee and guide it over to the right side of the mat. You can use your hand if that works better. And a nice twist for your spine here. Alrighty, and we'll bring that both feet back down to the mat. And we're going to come back up to a seated position. You can do that by either leaning over to the side and coming back into a seated position or rolling back up. I'm going to choose to roll back up. And once you're in the seated position, look at which foot is on the outer part. So your seated position, your legs or crossing somewhere around the ankle or calf area. So which foot is on the outside? That is the direction we want to turn to and then come into a standing position. So I'm going to use this as my guide. My right toes are pointing this way. So I'm going to turn this way to the left and then placing my right foot down. Both hands are on the mat. I'm going to come up to a standing position. That was a little trick that I saw online that I really loved. I kind of forgot about it. I was like, oh, I haven't done that in a while. All right, into mountain pose. So toes are pointing to the long side of the mat. Nice and straight. Feet are nice, evenly spaced. Legs are nice and straight and strong. Knees are gently bent by a neck cushion. Navel's tucked to the spine. Spine is nice and long. Back of your neck's nice and long. Really straightening up. Shoulders are relaxed, rolled back, and really creating that nice straight line. Our head is reaching toward the sky, but if you are prone like I am, kind of having my head forward, I want to push it back. So again, the back of my neck is nice, long, in line with my spine. So mountain pose, essentials of good posture, also provides that nice stability and strength and stillness of the pose. So we're going to lift our toes up off the mat and then bring them back down. We'll lift our heels off the mat and bring them back down. And just feel that grounded connection with your mat. Feel like grounding in your life. And then we'll sweep our hands up overhead. Big inhale. And then exhale, bending our knees. We're going to bring our hands down to the mat. All the way down. And just check in for a moment. See how we are today. Find something positive that might attract another positive thing. And then lifting our hands up to our shins, flattening out our back for half forward fold. Gaze is straight down, creating a nice long line between from our neck to our tailbone. And then the crown of the head drops down toward the mat. We'll just let gravity take over here for a moment. And then we'll sweep our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come up as our heels come up off the mat, coming up onto our tippy toes. And then we'll lower our arms slowly and lower our heels slowly back down to the mat. Sweeping our hands up again. Slowly with control, we come up onto our tippy toes. Lifting up toward the sky. And then slowly come down. Bringing our heels back down to the mat. And one last time, sweeping up. And bringing your arms out to the side. It's not comfortable. You can maybe bring them out front. That's another option. And then bringing everything back down. We'll bring our hands back down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. And then inhale, bringing our hands to our shins, nice flat back, flat neck. Setting the crown of our head down to the mat, toward the mat, not to the mat. And sweeping your hands all the way up again. Palms come together. We'll do a few side stretches. So bringing the right hand down to the right thigh and sliding the hand down toward your knee. And then back up again. And then left hand comes down and sliding that down towards your knee. And come back up again. We'll do one more time on each side. Right hand comes down, sliding it down, and then back up. Left hand comes down, sliding it down, and it comes back up. And then bringing both hands back down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. We come up onto our tippy toes here. Our knees are deeply bent up on our tippy toes. So we're in a squat position. And then we'll just bring our heels back down to the mat as we straighten out our legs, keeping that gentle bend. Don't lock your knees. Coming into a forward fold. And then we'll do another squat. Coming up onto the balls of our feet. And then sending our heels back down to the mat as we straighten out our legs. Again, forward fold. And one last squat. So bringing our knees fully bent, coming up onto the balls of our feet. And then we're going to bring our heels back down, back to the forward fold, and then sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Hands come together, hands come to heart center, and hands come to the back of our hips for supported back bend. We'll have our feet about hip width apart. Palms are on our hips, fingertips pointing down, chin tucked to the chest, shoulders are relaxed, and we'll just drop them back to that point where you can keep your breath nice and even and flowing. And just breathe into this pose. And then come back up, and we'll continue on. So sweeping our hands up and overhead again. Inhale, bringing our hands down to the mat. We're going to send our right leg back, coming into runner's lunge. Planting the right hand on the mat, we'll sweep our left hand up nice and slowly, following our hand with our gaze. And then back down again. We'll drop our back knee down to the mat. Top of the back foot comes down. And we'll do half monkeys. In this version of half monkey, we're going to keep our torso connected to the top of our thigh. So we're going to straighten out that leg as we keep that connection with the torso and the leg. And just go as far back as what's comfortable for you. And then we'll come back up. We'll try that one more time. So straightening out the leg. Our hips are going toward our ankles. We're keeping that connection between our thigh and our torso. And then we'll come back up. Tuck our back toe under, coming back into runner's lunge. And I'm going to send the left foot back to meet with the right foot, coming into plank pose. So plank pose, your wrists are right below your shoulders, heels are pushing to the back of the mat, navel's tucked to the spine to elevate your hips slightly, so we don't have any saggy tummies. And we're going to do a few what's called mountain climbers. So just bringing one knee at a time up toward our chest and back again. So we'll do the opposite one, up toward our chest and back again. And we'll do that, just kind of go back and forth between the legs as if you're climbing up the mountain, keeping your plank pose position. Again, this is a great one for the core. Alrighty, then we'll come back to plank pose and lower down either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. And once we've landed, slide our fingers to the top of the mat, coming into Sphinx pose. So our elbows are right below our shoulders. If that's a little uncomfortable on your shoulder, you may just extend your fingers further up the mat, taking off the stress on your shoulders. Your legs are active, tops of your feet are pushing down into the mat. So in Sphinx pose, sometimes I have a little message. So this is from the Law of Attraction Affirmations. So there's 110 on this particular site. And so this one is, I wake up each morning with a grateful heart and an open mind. I wake up each morning with a grateful heart and an open mind. Alrighty, and then we're going to come down, bringing our hands right below our shoulders, coming into baby cobra. So we're going to have our chin and chest lifted, and then just gently lift our hands up off the mat. And then placing our hands down, we'll gently push down into the mat, keeping our elbows tucked to the side, coming up into regular cobra. And then lifting all the way up to tabletop, and then bringing our hips down to our ankles for extended child's pose. And then we'll come back up to tabletop, tuck our toes under, lifting our hips up to downward dog. We'll come into a pedaling downward dog. So our arms are nice and straight, fingers are spread wide on the mat, kind of gripping in the mat, index finger pointing to the top. Chest is reaching toward your thighs to elevate your hips slightly. And then we're going to bring our knees to our elbow, and we're going to alternate those. So inhale, bringing the right knee to the elbow, pushing off the left toes, and then back again, pedal out a few steps, and then lift the left knee, bring it to the left elbow, pushing off the right toes, and back. Quick pedal out for a few moments. Right knee to right elbow, and then back again, pedal out. Left knee to left elbow, pedal out. Last time, right knee to right elbow, pedal out. And then left knee to left elbow, pedal out. And then we're going to bring the left knee, actually the left foot, up between our hands, coming into runner's lunge. We'll plant our right hand on the mat again. Sweep our left hand up to the sky. And then bringing it back down. We're going to take our back foot and just bring it up about a half a foot and coming into pyramid pose. So our back foot went from a runner's lunge to a pyramid pose position. And you're going to look at your knee. And then we'll come back to runner's lunge. So the knees, front knees stacked over the ankle, back foot's all the way pushing the heel back. And then we're going to bring that back foot up next to the right or left foot, coming into forward fold. And then sweeping our hands up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And we'll do that on the other side. So sweeping our hands up overhead. Exhale, bringing them down to the mat. We'll send our left leg back this time. Left hand gets planted into the mat. Sweeping our right hand up to the sky. Following it with our gaze. And then coming back down again. The right foot comes all the way down to meet the left foot coming into plank pose. And we'll do a few mountain climbers here. So gently bringing your knee toward your chest as if you're stepping up stairs or a mountain. You go at your own pace here. And then you come back to plank pose. And chaturanga or knees, chest, chin, keeping your elbows tucked to the side, lowering to the mat, sliding your fingertips toward the front of the mat till your elbows are right below your shoulders, or maybe sliding a little further. Take that pressure off your shoulders. This is an active pose. So your chest is nice and open. Tops of your feet are pushing down to the mat, activating your legs. And another law of attraction, affirmation, is I am worthy of love, abundance, success, happiness, and fulfillment. I am worthy of love, abundance, success, happiness, and fulfillment. And then we'll bring our hands right below our shoulders, keeping our chin and chest up off the mat, then lifting our hands up for baby cobra. Placing our hands on the mat right below our shoulders, elbows tucked to the side, we'll push down, coming up into regular cobra. Then inhaling, lifting up to tabletop, and then bringing your hips down to your ankles for extended child pose. And then back to tabletop. Tuck our toes under, lifting our hips up for downward dog. And we'll pedal out here for a few moments. And then we'll just, for a few moments, just take the right knee, bringing it to the right elbow, and then back again. and pedal out. And then the left knee to the left elbow and back again and pedal out. Right knee to right elbow and pedal out. Left knee to left elbow, pedal out. One last time. Right knee to right elbow, pedal out. And left knee to left elbow, pedal out. And then we'll bring our right foot up between our hands, coming into runner's lunge. And then we'll take the back foot and just guide it up about half the foot toward the front foot and come into pyramid pose. And then we'll send that back foot back down, coming back into runner's lunge. And then bring that back foot all the way up to the front foot, coming into forward fold. And then sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And there we have that part. We'll bring our pinky toes to the edges of the mat. Little pinky toes on the edge. Heels are turned in about 45 degrees. We'll come into a wide-legged squat. So I like to bring my hands to heart center. Lower the hips down toward the mat, bending the knees widely as we go, bringing my torso between the legs. Elbows are on the inside of the knees. And then we'll bring our sit bones down to the mat, come into staff pose. So staff pose is that L shape that you create. Toes are flexed up to the sky. Your spine's nice and straight and tall. And you can make little fists, push down into the mat, lifting your sit bones up off the mat and then back down again. Really feel that anchoring of your lower body to the mat. Nice straight back. We're going to go now into half boats. So keeping that nice straight back as best you can, lifting your legs up so that your shins and calves are parallel to the mat. And you can tuck your hands underneath your knees and lower the right toes down and then back up. Lower the left toes down and back up. And then lower both toes down and back up. And we'll just continue this for a little while. You can lower the right toes down, then the left toes down, and then both toes down. And if you like a little bit more of a challenge while you're doing this, release your hands and continue tapping your toes down one at a time and then both. Just a couple more here. And then we'll grab our knees and roll down on our backs. Interlacing our fingers around our knees. Give them a nice hug to our chest. Maybe rock back and forth to massage your lower back. And then we'll take our arms out to the sides You can make a T, or you can make a W or a V. You make an I, arms straight back, whatever works for you. Knees are bent. And then we'll exhale, lowering the knees to the right side. Try to keep your shoulders connected with the mat, nice and snug. And you send your gaze over to your left fingertips if they're out on a T shape, or just over to the left side. And then we'll bring our head back to center. Bring our legs back to center. And then slowly lower them over to the other side. And once they've landed, gently turning your head to look to the right. And slowly turning your head back to center. And bring your legs back to center. And then lowering your legs down to the mat and down to the corners of the mat. Bringing your arms alongside, maybe just out a little bit, creating that V shape. Palms facing up. Shoulder blades nice and snug in the mat. Take one deep inhale. And then one big exhale through your mouth. We'll do that again. Big inhale. And a big exhale through your mouth. Feel the nutrients of today's practice soak deep within you. Today I have a poem for you by Mary Oliver titled Starlings in Winter. Chunky and noisy, but with stars in their black feathers, they spring from the telephone wire, and instantly they are acrobats in the freezing wind. And now in the theater of air, they swing over buildings, dipping and rising. They float like one stippled star that opens, becomes for a moment fragmented, then closes again. And as you watch and as you try, you simply cannot imagine how they do it. With no articulated instruction, no pause, only the silent confirmation that they are in this notable thing, this wheel of many parts that can rise and spin over and over again, full of glorious life. Ah, world, what lessons you prepared for us, even in the leafless winter, even in the ashy city. I am thinking now of grief and getting past it. I feel my boots trying to leave the ground. I feel my heart pumping hard. I want to think again of dangerous and noble things. I want to be light and frolicsome. I want to be improbable. I want to be improbable, beautiful, and afraid of nothing, as though I had wings.